Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia video, and yes, I am finally back from vacation. I'm only back for like 2 days and I'm going on another vacation, so I'm going to try to crank out a bunch of character guides. So I know a lot of you have been asking for Relm, you've been asking for Sephiroth, and all these other, there's like a batch of 4 that just came out with DE9, and then later tonight, I'm recording this on Thursday, later tonight we've got Edge coming out, so I'm going to try to get his guide out as well. I am going to spread them out a little bit, but I'll probably tuck them in a little bit closer than I usually would, especially these first 4 that have been out for a little bit, because I know people really are anxious to get their guides out. So in today's video, I want to start with Relm, because one, I'm a huge Final Fantasy VI fan, and I love Final Fantasy VI characters. And Relm, I think, is a character that, if you don't understand her or how she works, I could definitely see players thinking she's not good, but that is definitely not the case. Relm is actually extremely good, and part of what makes her so good is that she's good in difficult content. And what makes her so good in difficult content is that she can steal a lot of turns for free, and she's very flexible in that she can basically be any element you want or have various effects. So she's a very good all-in-one orb checking unit depending on what type of orb you're going against. But what DE9 showed us, and one thing, I might get a DE9 video out, I'm not sure, because it's a very long run. Like, the build I did, it's like a 30-40 minute run. If I get time in these 2 days, I'll try to get a DE9 video out, but I'm prioritizing character guides. We need to get those out. But what DE9 showed us is, hey, when you're actually doing hard content and it's not garbage time, like, meeting the turn requirement can actually be really tough, and a character like Relm helps you meet turn requirement. So we'll talk about that in the video and how she does that and what she does so well, right? So let's jump in first, and we're going to do our artifact section here, and we're going to do our sphere section and kind of talk about that, right? So let's jump in the artifacts first. So for artifacts, you basically want the Attack 108 and Future Master Artist boost. So the C50 passive there is just a generic like party buff for Max Brave and Attack, which you definitely want that. Max Brave and Attack to the party is very good. You could do Max Brave 330 if you don't have 3 Attack 108s. Whatever option you want to do on there. But that C50 is the most important one, so you definitely want that Future Master Artist boost. Now, her spheres are kind of interesting. She's got some choices here that we're going to kind of talk about. So on the C slot, you would have the option to go more the healing route. So if you want to go like Theodore or Rosa or Porum, they've got a little bit of HP regen. 9 does self-healing, is a little bit more niche. But I think if you're going to go the healing route, Theodore is actually a pretty good sphere on her. And that's actually what I've decided to put on my Relm, because I kind of think of Relm as more of a utility support-based character. And adding healing to her kit really helps. Now, Theodore is going to get a 5% HP regen to the party, or HP heal to the party. The thing is, it's not like a huge heal, but the way Relm's kit acts, it makes Relm get a lot of turns. So Relm is going to be taking a lot of actions, and every time she takes one of those actions, she's going to get these little heals off. So I kind of like the idea of Relm being like this utility healer, right? Now, if you want a more traditional C slot, then go with like Alphanod, something like that, that will just help buff the party, right? Then Relm's actually got 2 E slots, so there are some kind of crazy things you can do here, right? So one option is you could put like generic debuffs on that Relm doesn't have, that you want to add more debuffing to her kit. DE9 in particular, a lot of people specifically will put 2 Lagunas on her. So what Laguna does, Laguna's orb is a max brave down, which even for the refined one, 12% max brave down is pretty decent, and this is a stackable sphere. So you could stack 2 Lagunas on, and then what happens is it'll apply the debuff twice, and during DE9 I think you have to like apply 4 debuffs in a turn. Well, with Laguna's sphere, it's doing a debuff to all enemies, and if you stack it, it would be doing it twice, so you're easily hitting that requirement of debuffing. And so she helps tick the orb in DE9, especially if you don't want to bring Vincent or another debuff character, or if you want to use her in conjunction with Vincent, right? So that's one strategy if you specifically are trying to do DE9 and you want to bring Relm, which Relm was used in my run. You could stack the double Laguna spheres, right? I decided for mine, I'm thinking of Relm just like general purpose. I'm not thinking specifically for DE9, but I did put 1 Laguna on there. And then Pain's actually got a really nice sphere that that she can hit, because Pain is a weakness damage sphere, which Relm, something that's very unique about her is she can be any element you want, which that's one reason I like Relm, is she's one of the most unique characters in the game that way. Like, she's just got unique mechanics, and the unique ability to basically take on the element of your summon is what she does, which is really cool. So you can give yourself weakness damage in any fight if you want to. So if you attack weakness, then Pain Sphere is going to give party attack up and enemy attack down. So that's a really nice combo where you're getting a buff and a debuff within the same sphere. So I kind of liked Pain there. So that's what I went ahead and threw in there. You could do something like Quistis, or else like kind of the standard like attack spheres for E slot are Kefka, Seymour, and Yuffie. Emperor as well. So if you wanted to use any of those, you could go ahead and use one of those if you want one of those general attack spheres. But this is the build I've chosen for my Relm. Alright, so let's go ahead and hop in. Now, what I've done is I've actually hopping into Snow's Intersecting Wills. Because Relm is actually featured there. She was only C80. But I want bosses that are going to be fairly aggressive and attack a lot. And this boss has an Ice Orb condition, which we're going to demonstrate how Relm can be used for that. So what I'm doing is I'm bringing along a Shiva summon. So for those of you unfamiliar with Relm, I don't remember if it's the 15 or the 35. It's Sketch Summon. I think it's the 35. But she has a Sketch Summon attack. And that Sketch Summon attack, or no, it's her 15. Her 15 is her Sketch Summon. So her Sketch Summon attack will be whatever element the summon is that you bring. Now, something else is there are some summons that have special effects with it as well. So, for example, let me just see. I've got it listed here. But, like, you could bring, like, Pandemonium if you want to do launching. Odin will do Instant Break, right? So, those are two interesting ones. So, if you... The thing with Relm is she's so flexible in the amount of orbs that she can meet, right? Because... with all the elements, she can get any elemental orb you want, right? There's some bosses or fights that, like, you need instant break that can be very tough to deal with. Well, you can bring her for that, right? If you need to launch, you can do Pandemonium and she can actually become a launcher. So there's a lot she can do, and she does debuffing, and she's got turn manipulation. So she's just very, very cool and unique that way. So let's go ahead and we're going to hop into this fight. But note, I am bringing Shiva as my summon. So Relm's attacks will mimic Shiva, which is pretty cool, right? Basically, she just does, like, you know, when you do a summon and they do an attack, her Sketch Summon is literally like a version of that attack. It, like, looks the same and everything, right? I'll just bring any random friend here and we'll hop in. Okay. Hopefully, I don't normally showcase on this stage, but so hopefully the boss won't be too crazy. But I brought a pretty nice team, I think, to deal with this. Because Snow's going to be a tank. We brought Cater, who is a dodge tank, who is also doing ice damage. So this is a team really built to take on this stage. So I think we're going to be fine here. So we'll start Cater with the triple slip. We'll get a free turn, get our dodge chance up, all that good stuff. And then we're going to go ahead and let's do Blizzard IOK. That's going to lock down. Now, the enemy is going to start with something called the Sketch debuff. So Relm has a few ways to apply this. So you can apply this through the EX, you can apply it through the LD, and you can apply it through the 35. So there's a bunch of ways to apply that. But what the Sketch debuff does is it makes it so that when an enemy acts, Relm gets a free instant turn that does not count against turn count. So this is what makes her really good in difficult content, because DE9, a lot of people are struggling to meet turn count. It's not necessarily the difficulty of battle, it's can you beat it within turn count. Relm was what I ended up going to because I did a couple runs where I literally beat it in 109 turns, 104 turns. I got down to 101, and then I finally decided to bring Relm through, and then I did Relm, and I got down like 70 turns. Like, it made a huge difference, and Relm was like the only... And I took out like a big damage dealer. Like, I took out Sephiroth and put Relm in, and I cut 30 turns off. So those of you that are playing Relm right now, trying her out, and you're like, oh, the damage isn't that good, like... I don't really get it's because of how she can be efficiently, well, one, the flexibility of her kit, like I talked about already, but she really helps the turn efficiency. And those of you that just started playing during garbage time, like, you don't actually understand what difficult content looks like. DE9, that's kind of like the standard. Like, that used to be like your weekly Lufenias or whatever. It used to be like that hard. It used to be where, like, before garbage time, if I beat a new Lufenia my first try, like, that was a plus. I was like, wow, I actually got it my first try. It normally takes multiple attempts to beat these. So I'm hoping that people that are newer to the game don't get sour as stuff starts to get difficult now, because we are rounding out to the end of garbage time. Like, just don't expect to, like, beat stuff right away now, because look at DE9, man. That was such a challenge. But as we get into Shinryu, that's going to be like your weekly thing. So just keep that in mind. So Relm's got her first turn here. So her attacks are Sketch Summon, which once again will take on the effects. So let's do Sketch Summon and just show that off right away. So we will go ahead and pop that off. And so you're going to see here, it's going to do whatever our summon is. So it's going to do Shiva. So that's going to give us ice damage. Okay. And then, yeah, Snow's going to do his thing. But that's sketch summon. So typically you just use that when you want. That's going to be kind of like your in-between, like just general damage attack that you're going to do with Relm, right? Snow, let's go ahead. Yeah, sure, we'll Steel Guard. We'll have Locke and Cater fight for attacks. Doesn't really matter. Let's go ahead and do the LD here with Cater. That's fine. We got plenty of ice damage here, so I'm not worried about this orb at all. I think we're going to be just fine here. Okay. All right, so now watch what happened. The enemy took a turn. Now Relm, the sketch debuff made Relm just jump turns. And now Relm gets a turn. And this is a free turn. Now what her LD does, she starts with her LD buff, so we didn't have to use it right away. But notice her HP attack changed to Tentacle. So Tentacle is unique in that it can only be used as her free turn during her free turn. So if I choose a different attack right now, I lose it. So I usually recommend using it. So this attack now will not count towards turn count. Okay? And you're going to see the damage isn't the craziest, right? Like it's usually sitting around 300k, but it does AoE. So when you're doing multiple enemies, that's like 300 something k AoE. And that damage adds up, especially because they're all free turns, right? So Snow, sure, let's go ahead and just do the LD here. We'll throw that down. And then you're going to be seeing a lot of Relm. Like, she's going to be going quite a bit. Okay? So now the sketch debuff is at 1, right? Now, what we can do is, if we wanted to reapply that, we could do sketch, which is a 35. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay? And it's just going to do a decent amount of damage and reapply the sketch buff. Now, what that does, though, is it sets up sketch plus, which we'll talk about how that's a little bit different in a second here. Let's just go ahead and do the EX with Cater. Cater's EX feels nice to press. I like her EX. Okay. All right. So now Relm's got her EX up. We've also got Sketch Plus, and we've got the LD. Let's go ahead and put the LD on. The other thing is we also have the Sketch Longer AA. What this AA is going to do is it extends the Sketch debuff in an additional 2 turns. So if you want to keep, like if you know you're not going to do a move that's going to increase it, or you want to do a different move, you can pop that first. So pretty much if you're not doing one of those 3 attacks I mentioned earlier, which would be the LD, Sketch, or the EX, if you're not doing one of those and Sketch is at 1 and you don't want to run out, or it's at 0 and you want to, well, I think you'd have to apply it first, but you could use that if you know you're going to go some turns without extending it, right? But let's do the LD, and I love the LD here because it brings out Ultros from Final Fantasy VI. Love Ultros. And so that basically is what... Basically, it's going to do a really nice attack. It applies 2 turns of the Sketch debuff. If they didn't have it at all, it would just put it on there. And then that's what allows you that Tentacle attack. So that's mainly what that attack is doing there. Let's do the Burst attack with Snow. We're going to let the enemy take a turn here, but then Relm is going to jump turns again, which is really, really nice. We're going to get that free turn. So we're going to take advantage. We're going to use that Tentacle here. The boss does have an ad here, so hopefully they'll get a little bit more aggressive. I kind of want to see the boss be aggressive. But this is a garbage time fight, so it's going to go pretty quick here. I remember this one not being like the easiest one though, so like we'll see, but we've definitely got the orb conditions met here. Okay. Yeah, we got the landmine from Cater. Okay, and now enemy took a turn. Now Relm's got another turn, right? So let's go ahead on the free turn. I know I've got the EX up, but I want to use Tentacle. You want to take advantage of that. Use Tentacle on your free turns. That's what I recommend you do. All right, and then Cater. Let's redirect back to Cater for the lock so that that Cater can do her dodge shenanigans. Okay. And then let's go ahead and do a charge shot. Charge shot's actually pretty powerful for an HP plus or a Brave plus. All right. So now what we're going to do is let's do Star Prism. So this is the EX. And this basically is going to... It's just like a pretty decent little attack there. You can see like 400k AoE. Pretty good damage. And that's basically just going to reapply the Sketch debuff. All right, you can see Relm just stole another turn. She's back up again. I've got Tentacle again. So you can see the damage isn't the most insane, but it adds up. and you're getting a ton of free turns, and once again, very flexible with the elemental damage she can bring forth, depending on your summon. So I just like that customizability there, right? The enemy did debuff us quite a bit, but we're just going to deal with it. And then just keep trudging forward here. All right, so Cater, sure, let's go ahead and do this. Throw the EX back on. And then Relm's going to get another turn here. Now, we haven't shown off Sketch Plus yet. So what Sketch Plus does is it's actually going to inflict blind on the enemy, and it's going to jump turn so that she'll act right before the enemy, and then it's going to reapply the sketch debuff. So when you get the sketch plus, it's very nice. So let's go ahead and throw that down. Okay, and you see Relm jump turns, even though the enemy is supposed to go next. Relm jumped up and she gets a turn. Now, this isn't the free turn like from the sketch debuff. She knows Tentacle is not active right now. It literally, she just jumps and she gets another regular turn back to back. Now the enemy's got the sketch debuff on. So now when the enemy acts, we're going to jump turns again. So now let's put the EX on again. Her EX, once you hit it, it charges very fast. It's like 2 moves and then you get that back. So you're going to be cycling that EX a lot. And because that EX is constantly going off, look, Relm's got another free turn. The EX just went off. You're going to constantly have, like the enemies, if you're playing Relm right, they're always going to have that sketch debuff on. So whether it's the AA extending it or one of the 3 attacks, the way she operates now with her C90, like you can go, her longevity is just crazy. That's the other thing that DE9 really showed, is like you're in there with like Vincent and he's like literally no skills by the end of that fight. Like I had him down like from 1 to 3 skill uses total on his 15 and 35. Like he was drained. Relm, she's just sitting there. She's got like everything. Like she's good to go. The way they built her is so nice because even though she's taking a lot of free turns, because she gets that free tentacle attack, you're not losing skill uses on anything. So she just has like crazy longevity, which is very, very useful in the Shinryu era, which is what we are about to enter. So if you want a character that's going to help you meet some orb conditions, help you meet turn counts, she's very good. Here's the other thing that makes Relm actually quite valuable in Shinryu. We'll talk about this more later on, but I want to do a video on force weapons. And for those of you unfamiliar with force weapons, basically there's a force gauge that you need to fill. Look, Relm just stealing turns again here. I'm going to kind of talk over Relm here for a second. Sure, let's just apply another, or no, this is free turn, right? We tentacle. But the thing with force weapons is you have a force gauge you need to fill, but only certain types of actions will fill the force gauge. Different characters have different requirements. Well, it just so happens that a lot or several of the force gauges have elements tied to them. So for example, like Dash and Reno, they need lightning damage. So if you do lightning damage, it helps fill their force gauge. Well, Relm is a character where I can just throw on a Rama summon, and then she's all of a sudden, she's got lightning damage in her kit, and she can help charge her force gauge. So she's very flexible that way in that no matter, like if you have a newer roster and you don't have a lot of elements, Relm is literally every element packed into one package. So any way that elements can help you out, Relm can help you with that, right? Here we go, another Star Prism. So that's basically it, guys. I've rambled on long enough, but Relm, you just go turn to turn to turn, keep the sketch buff, debuff on, use the LD when you need to refresh the buff, but otherwise you can kind of go turn to turn, pick what you want to do, and use Relm to your advantage. I think she's a fun character. She's definitely not like a blind press buttons. Like she does make you think a little bit, but to me that makes her a fun character. Like you interact a little bit more, you get to think a little bit more. It even makes you think more about like what summon you're initially bringing into the fight, which I really, really like. Hey, guess what? Relm just stole another turn. Guess what we're going to do? We're going to tentacle, free damage. It's not like the most insane damage, but when you think of like how much damage a character is doing, sure, let's do another sketch summon. Haven't done one of those in a while. You have to like add up all the damage they're doing in an actual counted turn. And so with Relm, a lot of times you're doubling or if not tripling her damage because especially how often the enemy's attacking. But like for every action she's doing, she's at least getting 1 or 2 more free actions depending on how often the enemy's attacking. She's really great in these events also where the enemies like to jump turns a lot. Because they'll jump turns and maybe they're set up to have like 50 turns in a row or whatever. I'm kind of emphasizing too much that they wouldn't actually get 50 in a row, but there are some times where the boss will have like 3 to 4 turns in a row. Well, Relm just absolutely interrupts that, right? They got that sketch debuff on. She's going to jump in and get a turn. And even on her free turn, let's say you're in an emergency situation, right? Where like the enemy's going to take a bunch of turns and Relm interrupts and she's only got that 1 free turn and then the enemy's going to take a bunch. Well, then maybe you pop your summon and it gets you out of a sticky situation. So anyways, guys, there you go. That's Relm. Let me know if you have any questions. Very cool character. I like her a lot. I think she's definitely a character that people can under-evaluate if you don't really understand what she's doing. So hopefully this guide helped you all out. Thanks for watching and we'll catch you all on the next one. Later.